Welcome everyone. This is the part two of the sovereignty seminar. The only reason I use the sovereign word is everybody recognizes, that's what we're doing. In the what we would call the industry, most people choose to use different terms to describe it. I know that there's the state national, US national, so on and so forth. The main thing is we're all trying to be free here. We're all trying to establish what we can do to plug the holes so that we can stop leaking money to everybody but ourselves. I'm going to start this out with a little quote that I read in Suits and Chancery, and it is Henry Gibson. If you don't have that book yet, write that down, and you can download it for free online. It's like 1,200 pages. You can also watch it on YouTube. So it's very important. So the quote says that there is no beneficiary in the law. The beneficiary only exists in equity. So that explains a lot, like why we don't have any rights when it comes to commerce, is because the way the law is written is our entire role is written out of the law. So here is all right. So I'm going to start here with the screen share. And this is the PowerPoint that I made. All right, so again, this is presented by the entity that I created. This entity that I created is not to be a bank, but we are here to help people figure out how they're going to get free. Understand that we are learning as you are learning. So this is part two. This is what's called the secured party process. This is how you become your own secured party creditor. There are many steps in this whole thing. This is just like, this is the next most important thing after you send off your birth certificate to get verified and that you have done the passport process. Then you have to start, working on this. So, the first thing is yes, we're the straw man, all caps name, corporate fiction. Again, here is a copy of the book, Meet Your Straw Man, that explains a lot of it. And the other book that I don't have on here yet is called the UCC Connection. So if you haven't gotten that one yet, write that title down. You can get them both on Amazon. Okay, so UCC1 and UCC3 and collateral statement. Okay, these are going to be your most important tool for establishing that you are free. These are going to show through the record, on the record, that you are not your corporate fiction. There is no way that you could be your corporate fiction and you could file a UCC1 lien against yourself. Okay. If anybody has any questions, feel free to pipe in. Okay. We file this on yourself from your birth. Okay. The creditor is your first, middle, and last, what they call your syntax grammar name. Your debtor is your corporate fiction, which is your all caps name. The address is to be the same format. Your creditor address is the address you lived at, C/O, and then your address, not in all capital letters. The address of the debtor is off your birth certificate. So it's either going to be the address your parents lived at when you were born, or it's going to be the address of the hospital you were born in. Okay. Basically, because after you were born and they created that birth certificate, that entity became dead. And so once that entity becomes dead, right, it doesn't move. It doesn't have another address.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How would I address the hospital if the hospital no longer exists?
It doesn't matter if it exists. You just need the address.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's closed. They tore mine down 5 years ago and they built a new one, 5 stories high down the road, but you still just use the same address that,
Okay.
or it'll say on your birth certificate too. If you look at your birth certificate, sometimes there's an address on there. Mine was some PO box my parents had. That's what I used. So it doesn't matter. Just make sure it's not your current address. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I had another question, but it
Go ahead.
slipped. It slipped my mind. I'll raise my hand when it comes back.
Okay. All right.
I know what it was. We're talking about the original certificate or these certificates that they mailed after the original certificate, birth
So
certificate.
the birth certificate, the only one that matters is the long form. And here, let me show you guys.
Okay.
Let me go back here. All right. You guys can see me now and not that screen.
Yes.
All right. Can you see this? That is a long form of the birth certificate. You see the red number at the bottom? That's your bond number. That's your birth bond. That's your body number. That's why it's in red. Anything in red is blood. Okay.
Okay.
Social security card, I have that on the bottom too. Okay. So then if you look on here, it says an address of where my parents were when I was born, and that's the address that I used. That somebody else has probably got the PO box I used, but it doesn't matter because for the purposes of a UCC, you're just filing against your dead entity. Okay.
Okay.
So let me get back to screen share.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, so debtor has to be all caps address on your birth certificate. Okay. So there are two things that you're going to do here. You're going to do a UCC filing and a non-UCC filing. Okay. The UCC filing is the filing that you do with your Secretary of State. Some people do it in New York, whatever. I was born in Wisconsin, so I did it in Wisconsin. You can do it all online. Me and another member were going through this the other day, and you can do the same thing in Missouri. Now, it doesn't matter what state you file in, okay, because they all are connected. So whatever state that you can do an online filing, Wisconsin's $27 and it was only $10 in Missouri. So I'd say go to Missouri, but it's totally up to you. So I'm going to send you guys a document, that kind of walks you through this non-UCC filing. So a non-UCC filing is a private filing. It is not on the record. Okay. And this is something that you do and then you send in to the Treasury or wherever. So here's the non-UCC. These are the documents that show you how to do that and explains it. Okay. And here's the UCC. So they're basically the same form, except for one you do on the record and the other one you just fill out paper form. Okay. And you hand write it and then you send it in. Okay. And then you have to write up here, private, up on the top. You just follow the directions when I send you this stuff. Okay. So yeah, that's the UCC and non-UCC. So when you're doing the UCC filing, the first thing you do is the UCC1. The UCC1 establishes that there is a relationship. Okay. And then the UCC3 is where you add collateral. So you do the UCC1, and then in the bottom here, I don't write anything down here. So on this part here, I put C attached. And then I do a UCC3, and then on the UCC3, I put C attached. Okay. And then on that part, then you file the UCC3 and then you attach your financing. This is a financing statement that covers the following collateral. This can be whatever you want. You can put your gold ring, your grandmother's gold ring. You can put anything in here. But what's important is that as you go through this, is that you have all the documents and the birth certificate numbers and the social security numbers and all the stuff, bank account numbers and debit card numbers and everything. So put all this stuff in here, because this is what establishes is that you have the right over that. Okay. And so then that's your UCC 1 and UCC 3. For what I do it every single time that I do another financing statement, add something, buy a car or anything, I do another UCC 3. It only costs another $10. And let me show you what those are. Okay. Share. When you start doing this is how much crap you have to do. Okay. Now, a lot of people say that you don't, but I do. I do everything. Anything that somebody tells me to do, I do. I don't care. What are they going to do? Take my birthday away? So here, that's the UCC 1. And then you see on the top, this is my public one. It's got a docket number. So whatever state you file it in will register it with a docket number. See, and I've said this before to you guys, and I'll say it again. You have to put it on the record. If you don't put this stuff on the record, it's not worth the paper it's printed on. It's got to have a docket number. Okay. So this is the Wisconsin docket number. That's the UCC 1. Here's the UCC 3 with my first collateral statement with my $100 million bond. Here is my UCC 3 second collateral statement with a $100 million bond and a $500 million bond on the back. Right. And so those are all on the record. They're all on the same record. They all have the same numbers. They just change. One says 2 at the end, one says 5 at the end, one says 1 at the end. But they're all attached to each other. Okay. So that's basically the UCC stuff. Okay. Again, it's very important. It's very important that, you do this stuff, and that, this is probably, in my opinion, the most important thing that you're going to do, in order to establish that you are not your corporate fiction and that you are free. Okay. And so then, security and hold harmless, security agreement. Okay. I'm going to give you copies of these. So these are basically templates, and the security agreement, it tells people how your financial ability is supposed to be done. And the hold harmless, is, it's just like if you go to bank and get a loan, right? So instead of going to a bank and get a loan, you're the bank, right? Your all caps name is the bank. And so what you're doing is you are engaging in a contract between yourself and, your human body and your all caps name. So nobody else can, right? So, it's a contract with yourself. It lists all your assets. It's filed on the record, and then it's sent to the Treasury and the Secretary of State. Okay. So here's a copy of the templates that you're going to get. Now, the private security agreement is 20 pages long. The hold harmless is anywhere from 1 to 3 pages long, and they go together. Okay. And then your bonds. Okay. There's the indemnity bond, set-off bond, insurance bond, sureties, witnesses. Okay. So let me show you. I'm going to show you through a screen share. Stop this one. Now we're going to go to the screen share. And where is it at? Driving. All right. So you guys can see this. You see at the top, this numbers, Pima County, Arizona. That's where I put it on the record. This particular one is for driving. This is so that you can drive without a license. So you got your affidavit of travel. Whenever you put this stuff on the record, you want to put a cover sheet like this. Okay, and I have a template for this that you can have. So this is the affidavit. You do the affidavit of travel, and then your $5 million insurance bond. All insurance, car insurance, any kind of insurance is guaranteed by your all caps name. So why do you have to pay an insurance company a monthly premium when you can do the same thing? All right. So mine's $5 million. Let me show you what it looks like. So here's my bond. See the number at the top? The number at the top is for this docket number that also becomes your bond number. Okay. So private auto insurance surety bond, $5 million. And then it's got my number on it. And it attaches to all the other bonds that I have. And then it, it talks about the laws that allow me to do this. And then basically this is what makes it active, right? And this is where I sign if I get in a wreck. And then if you get in a wreck, you take that, you sign the bond, and you give it to whoever you got in a wreck with. This is legal. State of Georgia allows sureties. Okay, look in your state. And so that's what I did. This is what I drive on. My personal vehicles. My business vehicles have insurance. So, and then it's just, different things in here. And then I make copies of this with the record, and I put it in all my vehicles. So then if I get pulled over, I just hand it to them. And it's got the claimant, peaceful inhabitants, claimant declaration of executor, proof of life, and certification of trust. So this certification of trust, make sure you have this on everything. This is like one of the most important things that you will have. And this mine, you see mine's got a 98 EIN. That's my foreign trust EIN. It's got the address. So there's an example of that. Okay. Let's go back to this. All right, and here's a copy of another bond. This is a bond for set off. This one's for, I don't know if this one is. Yeah, this one's 100 billion. I don't really think that doing a bond for $100 billion there's really much benefit. Like I have mine at 500 million. I don't think there's any way in 20 years I could spend $500 million if I tried. So that's kind of where I set mine at. You can always create more bonds. So that this will be in there for you. Okay. Here is the templates. I'm going to send you. I'm basically going to do a zip drive, and it'll be on the website, and it's going to have around 36 documents in there that you can change and put on the record. As far as how all this stuff works, I'm not a lawyer. Okay. I can't tell you what this does or what remedy or whatever. All I know is that this stuff works. And so you're going to have to go through this stuff, and you need to read and get your Black's Law dictionary, and you need to look for yourself and decide what stuff you want to be a part of your life and what you don't. I myself just put everything on the record, and then I use the stuff that's already on the record to create remedies. Okay. Again, here's very important. You can click on this. This is the Pima County, Arizona. All right. This is where you put stuff on the record. There's other counties you can put stuff on the record, but this is what I use. And this is just kind of an example of what you'll find on your phone, document recording. And then this is the address. I always mail it in with a check from the post, a postal money order for $30, and everything seems to get put on the record. If you want to see what all I have on the record, it's public knowledge. Just go to document recording and search my name, Kent Nicholas Stark, and you can see everything I put on the record. So So that's that. That's just kind of like a quick run through on the PowerPoint. There's a lot of work to do in this step. But like I said, the most important thing is your UCC1 and your UCC3 and your collateral statement. And again, I'm going to create a zip drive. I'm going to put it on the website, and you can go through that as you need to and change things as you need to. And some of the documents, they may not apply to you. They may not be something you want to use. You may have found something somewhere else that you would rather use. But the important part is UCC1, UCC3, collateral statement, security agreement, indemnity, and then creating your bonds. Now, you don't have to do the bonds. Some people don't do them. Okay. I do them because they're fun. I enjoy them. They're really cool. You just print shit out on bond paper. You got to get all these signatures. One of the things is on one of the bonds that I'm going to send you is it's got a place for three signatures. So it's you, the principal, and then there's two sureties. In other words, those people have to guarantee that you're going to perform the way you're going to perform with this bond, right? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that those two sureties have their own indemnity bond. So you guys basically want to get three people together that you know and you trust, and you want to do this all together because you got each other's social security numbers on it and all that stuff. Okay. If you're not comfortable with that, then don't do the bonds. Okay. But that's what you need. You need to have two other sureties on there. And basically what it does is in the place of that bond, what the surety does is that they're guaranteeing you on that bond. Okay. And I'm not saying you, the human body, they're guaranteeing the corporate fiction. So it's their corporate fiction guaranteeing your corporate fiction. So if your bond doesn't cover something, then it goes back to their bonds. Right. So that's that's basically, the bond stuff. And this is the secured party creditor process. When I put stuff on the record, I tried to put it in different, so that I could send different stuff. So I didn't have to like send one huge pile to everybody. Right. So I have my list of fees on one docket. I have my will and trust on another docket, and then I have my SPC on another docket. I have my travel on a docket, and then I have two dockets of status correction. So the next video, I'm going to get into status correction. Now, there's a lot of these forms and documents that I'm going to send out to you that can be condensed. So the next video, I'm going to show you a condense where I've taken basically 30 documents and I've condensed them into 3. Okay. And so I personally feel like those 3, actually 4, I've already given everybody the financial power of attorney. Okay. But the other 3, are basically your status correction stuff. Okay. And in addition to all the stuff, this is just the paperwork that you have to do for the documents that you have to create and put on the record. In addition to this, you got the IRS pack that is on the website. You have here's the you guys haven't done this, do this. This is the state of Minnesota certificate of existence and registration. This is how you another way of you to establish that you are not your corporate fiction. Okay, so there's a lot of other like government stuff, like forms that you can fill out and add that do some things for you too. But the main thing is, before you get into all that, you have to have your stuff on the record. And that's what I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help everybody get the information so they can get their stuff on the record. And then you can start to work on remedy, right? You can't, I want to make sure I stress this. Do not jump the gun. This isn't going anywhere. Your corporate fiction isn't going anywhere. The government isn't going anywhere. This isn't a rush. There's got all kinds of new cars at BMW. Every year. They make them every year. So don't fuck this up because you're in too much of a hurry to get a new car or to get a house, right? So just follow the steps. So yeah, go ahead with any questions.
Okay. I I had two questions. One question was the amount that you had set on your insurance and bond, is that the amount you came up with was in your trust?
No.
Oh, okay.
I
You just came
uh,
up with a figure.
I at first I heard 1.5 billion because I saw somebody with a check for 1.5 billion. Um, then I talked to a guy that actually got the court to open his up, and it was 2.5 billion. Um, and I've heard in excess. I heard one guy say there was 54 zeros, which is like a trillion. So there's not. I can promise there's more than 500 million.
Mm,
Right? So I'm not going to create a bond that I know is going to be for more than what I think is in your trust, because
correct.
that's that's where you get into like breaking trust laws, right? So I'm pretty confident there's a billion. So 500 million to me seems like a good number.
Yeah.
And so that's
Okay.
where I stuck with that. As far as the driving one, I just copied somebody else. All the ones I saw were for 5 million. So
Mm.
I just did a driving bond for 5 million. And as long as you do it on bond paper and it's registered, on the record, then it's a legal document. So
So where you get your bond papers, like Staples?
yeah, it's just
Okay.
certificate stuff.
Okay.
The law or the rule on it being bond papered is it's not so much a thickness. Some people think it is. I mean, anywhere from 24 to 30 pound paper is fine, but it's got to have that watermark. So the watermark is what makes it a legal bond paper, because then people can't make copies of it. Cool. All right. We have another Ivory. You got your hand raised? Hello. Any other questions?
I think Erie's having microphone issues.
Okay.
Her question was to you, will you guarantee for us? It's in the chat. With the bond.
You
So I'm gonna send the link in here on how to join the website. And then will I guarantee what? You mean be your surety? No. So the first thing is you got to be in person with your sureties. And they have to sign when you sign with witnesses. So, I mean, I'm not planning on being in person anywhere. I'm in Georgia right now, and I work in California and Wyoming and Colorado. And so like, I never really know where I'm going to be, but you just need to find, like some people that can do it with you. Okay. Let me put the link in the website for the website. So on the website, most of you already know this. It's $99.95 a month. That's 5 cents under $10. If you want to get the information off the site and then cancel your membership in 7 days, there's no charge. If there's anybody in here that has had some problems with canceling, I've been on the road. I just got back a few days ago, so you know, I'm in the process of helping everybody get that stuff dealt with. If you and the main thing is that the fee is just so that I can generate a little money to keep the website up. It's not my main business. I don't make money off people doing this. I'm just doing this to try and help people out. So that's the website. I haven't done the zip drive on there for all the documents. So I'll have that on there by the end of the day. And you know, if you run into any issues, feel free to hit me up on Telegram. Yeah, so that's basically the process. Is there any other questions? No? Okay, well, again, you can hit me up online and or you can send me an email. Thank you everybody for coming. And you know, I hope this kind of you know, opened your eyes to some stuff, and maybe my intent with all this is to take away the confusion. When I went through this process, nobody was there to help me. I had to figure it all out on my own. All right. Well, I'll talk to everybody soon, and thank you very much.
Thank you.